Hey everybody, this is Sarah and the Sarah Upside Down Show. Um, if you haven't been here before, I do content on autism, ADHD, just neurodiversity in general, as well as mental health and MBTI related um, topics. So today we are actually going to be doing special interest hour and topics. Sorry, my phone is echoing in the background. Look, I'm already messing up. We're doing special interest hour, and I'm going to have a friend of mine come on here in just a minute, and he's going to talk about different stuff that is that has been his special interest, and just like how that is with being autistic, and kind of being able to get into those things and how they kind of connect some of us. And there's just a lot of that can really be dug into with that topic. But Ken specifically, who is going to be coming on, we have these random alien connections and things. So I had to do the Vulcan stuff and the alien shirt. I'm pretty sure I wear this every time that we do a video. Oh, look, my Vulcan ear fell off. But anyhow, we kind of have some meshing similar interests and things like that. And that's kind of what's been a random thing that has kept us like autistic buddies, and just doing a lot of meme posting and doing a lot of gift stuff. And we just have a good time usually together. And so it's always a fun and interesting show whenever he comes on. And we just get to kind of ramble about whatever it is. And so this is the perfect topic to ramble about, because this is what we're good at, rambling about the things that we love and we're passionate about. So I'm going to explain just a couple things in case you are not on the spectrum, or you're not sure that you are, or you're looking for information for someone that you know is, and are not quite sure like what some of these things are. And if you want to go look at one of my old videos on special interest, it kind of goes more in depth. But so basically, a special interest is a topic or activity that autistics engage in. Sorry, I got my paper down here. Their interests are a lot more extreme than regular fascinations or hobbies. They are our happy place, a sort of peaceful ward or joy for us. Autists often engage in their special interests through researching, collecting data, facts, etc. Some, like me, will make lists and categorize them and learn and do it in different categories, and what I like to call our mind palace. And I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, so that's another one of mine. Special interests can last a lifetime, but some I have last maybe a year or two, which is more of a hyperfixation. I may use them when I need it if the accumulation of knowledge is needed, but then later let it go. They become a very important, and that's just for a hyperfixation. These special interests become a very important part of us and reflect who we are, and when we fall down whichever rabbit hole it came from. Some of my interests I've had the longest, I will discuss in a little bit, because, well, I've accumulated like a bigger variety of in-depth, too many interests and too many depths of rabbit holes. But what most of them are since childhood, and some of them are new. Each one is a deep part of my autistic being and makes up the full bigger picture of who I am. This is what an autistic chameleon looks like. And what can I say? No wonder I needed all the MBTI neurology interests so bad, trying to work through this variety of in-depth interests and then try to see which type you are. Like, it's insane, because you can just really be able to kind of flow with whoever, for the most part. Like, even if they're completely opposite from you, you're still able to, um, you know, maybe just have an interest in common or something, and just be able to kind of dive into that as being able to communicate. Um, and just some quick tips. It's best to set timers, I've realized, when working on my special interests, and also, sadly, sometimes how long I speak about them. Um, and then I probably need a timer to zip it. Yeah, to zip it. I'm like, I can't read. And to reciprocate conversation a bit better. But tips I've read are taking 1 to 2 hours of researching special interests and 1 hour on a creative endeavor, engineering a new object, or playing games. Those are just examples because that's what I do. So, something like that. And I'll take my own advice with that because I still need to work on it. Some of us can be too deep in and need to be pulled out, but like gently, maybe. We literally left this planet. Um, and then some professionals and parents think that we should be boxed in or contained with this, and this can hurt how we feel about them, like we are wrong or bad or too much, too this or that. Having these extreme hobbies is not a problem to most autistics unless they are trying to be more neurotypical or mask. Since we are not born neurotypical, it probably won't be well for our mental health and how we function. Um, and I could definitely go more into depth about that, but a lot of us end up with a slew of different mental health masking and other for a reason. And, that's not just like masking, like the things that you think like stems and stuff. It's just even stuff that we like and how much, and like being too much for people and being told that, and etc. So on. It just can lead to, a lot of rejection sensitivity issues, which I also have in a lot of my spectrum friends. Um, but these special interests speak for us when we can't speak, or if we never could. We choose to we choose to dive deeper into what we love and create our own world for safety in a world that most of the time doesn't feel very safe. Hypersensitivity will only become worse if we are not supported. We need the calming aspects of what is passion. When I'm really down, and can't get out of my head, or something is bothering me, and you get stuck on and you're headed towards a meltdown, you feel yourself shutting down, talking about or being positively reinforced to our interests can help us crawl out. There are days when after having a horrible meltdown, and didn't go so bad, because I was able to be rediverted, or had spouse or even my kids help to show me something else. Hyperfixations, which I mentioned, can be similar. They don't last a lifetime and don't change you to connect with it as much. They don't really affect your whole personality like some of them do. I would explain that as my multiple endeavors in physical activities, which is archery, karate, yoga, etc. And when I'm in my special interest, it can last for years, forever, and I can't let go even if I tried. It will always come back no matter how long I separate. Always be one of my puzzle pieces. Dusty but not gone forever, like Star Trek. So, on that note, had to end with Star Trek. That was an accident. But we're going to add on Ken on the spectrum. I will link his information below after the video, and y'all can go check out his social medias. He does a lot of cool, like, little art stuff and graphics, and a lot of good posts and insightful things. So, and then he also has groups and stuff on Facebook to help other autistics find the groups that more fit them. So I'm going to go ahead and add him on here. Hello, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Sitting
Here
in the
I'm,
backstage.
yeah. I'm I'm in a ship on the edge of dimensional space. Watch my hand. See?
Oh, it disappeared. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
See?
We're in outer space now. I need my
Yeah.
ground. Where's the Spock land? We have the Lady Gadget on watching with us, and she's saying, "Hello, Ken."
Hello.
And
See,
yes.
I hear my own voice. It's not you, it's me. So if I sound like I'm talking really slow, it's because I'm trying to make sure. Can you understand me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Do I?
Yeah, fantastic.
If
Fantastic.
I
um, yeah,
so
clear.
Sith daughter, I notice your ears got a little somebody. So what's up?
Well, we're just talking about special interests. So if you would like to share on some of yours, like what your long-term ones have been, you've been around like a couple more, a decade more. That's all. So,
Well,
there could be cooler things that maybe some people don't know about, or something that's like really random and kind of odd that you're into. I mean, I'm pretty much open to whatever. Like none of these even go together. So see, some of my special interests are back here. Like, do any of these really go together? No, no, they don't.
well,
Like,
they have attributes.
oh yeah, there's definitely that. But
There.
that's like what people like us would be connecting, and not just because we're autistic, but I think just because how we function really, that like we can kind of pick up these things that don't seem like they
Yeah.
connect, and that's what makes us like
Well, I think too.
so.
Well, the um, commentary I usually get is how is it you jump from one thing to another, or different kinds of characters from movies.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think what it is with us is we steal what we want. It's a smorgasbord.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's all a smorgasbord on
Suck it
your
in.
wall.
It's the
Yeah.
chameleon attributes of
Yeah.
like natural abilities of adaptability, but like it's mostly from movies and shows, and so that didn't really help us later out
Yeah.
in life with like pickup lines and things when all you keep saying is like stuff that you heard on TV. And also Jim Carrey being one of my special interests, and Robin Williams and just those type of comedians. Like I got all my stuff from Ace Ventura and things like
Hmm.
that. And that was really deceiving because I think like some people would, that would maybe be interested would be like, yeah, so she's pretty or whatever. And then like I start talking and um it's a lot of movie lines would come out, or like, just awkward stuff that
Yeah.
probably didn't even fit. I mean, I've gotten better at like fitting it in the right spot these days, but like just because it was like all my special interests is what like, sort of taught me how to communicate. I mean, obviously learning from like Star Trek and Star Wars and
Yeah.
like, anime and things is like not going to work out as well in the real
Well,
world.
you know what I've noticed? Like you do it, I do it. If you remember the episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, they met these lizardy looking people,
Yeah, yeah.
and the captain and their captain went down to the planet, and they couldn't understand each other. The aliens would always use, it was like they were quoting lines from a story. That's how they communicated what they were trying. They would say, so and so when the walls fell and stuff like that. It just, that's kind of like how we are. If people want to understand, if they're neurotypical, they want to understand us, they got to
Mm,
watch that episode of Star Trek. And
yeah,
then we got to go down to a planet with them with knives and fight off a beast together.
Yeah. See, I feel like we're like more of like there's just like Star Trek is just like a different
Mhm.
categories of like like different areas on the spectrum. It's like a whole circle of just these different personalities, these attributes, these traits, and whatever. And so like even me knowing like very Spock like autistic side versus like these other characters over here, like I know some friends or like family members or other that are autists, and they have more of like the Spock, like or
Mhm.
like it's like the Mandalorian. I don't have a sign for that. We'll just do this: Mandalorian, Spock, whatever. um and those type of characters are like, this is the way, like they've created their routine, they've set
Mhm.
it up. Oh, the Borg, 7 of 9, that's another one that would be that very I would say more not introverted necessarily, like personality wise,
Yeah.
but just like within their selves more, like they're more closed up, they're more like their routines are a lot more rigid and things like that. And so like with the Spock and things, like they had to learn when they would meet with the other groups, like
Yeah.
there had to be a compromise, like how are we gonna like, because they just wanted it this way. And 7 of 9 came from a Borg. And so, like, she was used to being connected to this whole Borg,
Yeah.
society. I won't go
Well,
into
they
it,
didn't have
you know,
communication issues
yeah.
either.
And she had to learn how to communicate with, the rest of the crew as a human who had been a part of this Borg like her entire life. And so she was still really like odd about going with it. But like once she stopped being, I would say like more of this like direct only this way side, it actually showed what she was like to open up to like, her real self, like her autistic things showing on the outside, kind of
Yeah.
being like whatever, not complying, you know. And
Well, her and Spock are a lot like well, they're trying to get in touch with their human side,
yeah, yeah.
whereas
Half character, half human, half
yeah,
character stuff. Yeah.
and Data and Tuvok, and I think her name was T'Pol on Enterprise.
Yes, I love her.
Um,
She is my
they're
favorite.
not human,
Yeah.
but they're trying to understand humans.
Yeah.
They're at first they're so perplexed. They're like, I remember Star Trek Two. Yeah, it was Wrath of Khan. They had Savik, the half Vulcan, half Romulan character, the woman. It was Kirstie Alley that played her.
Yeah. I remember I was actually just looking through. I watched that one again like last year at some point, and yeah, it was crazy because like she
Well,
was in a
there's the
lot of stuff back then. Christy Alley, she was in a lot of things around that time.
well, I was going to say her character. She enters travel tube with Kirk,
Hmm.
and she says something like, um, "May I ask you a question?" He closes the door and says, "You may ask," and he laughs a little, and he's like, "Humor." Oh no, he says that's a joke, and she says, "Humor. It's a difficult subject.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
isn't
Oh my
it's
gosh,
not
yeah, I
logical."
remember that one. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. See, I remember having to learn jokes the right way or whatever
Mhm.
the right way, whatever that is, when I was a kid. And I remember like my stepdad actually buying me a like how to tell a jokes book because I didn't get them and I wanted to try to tell them. Anyways, now I see my son do it all the time. And like it'll be, oh God, I was like, buddy, it was like, this is like not even funny. That's not even what's going, like there's nothing connecting about that being like, we're gonna have to work on it. All right.
Yeah.
So I went and got him some joke books, some comic ones and like this simple ones, and like just because he loves telling jokes. Like I would love to like do stand up comedy or something like a couple times. That'd be funny. But I just didn't get them. And like even now, Jeremy, my husband, tries to do joke stuff with me. And like if it's not a literal joke or like it's not like because I don't want to sit there and have to figure out a joke. If I'm gonna spend my
Yeah.
brain power on something, I want to figure out like something more. I just want to laugh. Like I just want to get a six pack with laughing. So, oh, there goes my ear. You can laugh. But yeah,
Oh no.
so anyway, we ended up literally trying to talk about special interests and ask you what yours were, and then we just ended up going into a mutual one of ours, which
Well,
I did T-Pole and Spock together because it looked like us in Star Trek.
yeah.
But yeah, so we just ended up literally going into a whole conversation about Star Trek
Well, you
already.
know what? I've had I'm not kidding when I say this. The first time I saw Star Trek as a kid was on a little black and white TV my
Oh
parents
gosh,
had. It
yeah.
was on prime time, brand new. All I remember was the Enterprise flying at the screen because I was a little kid, and that caught my
It's
attention.
like me seeing Men in Black as a kid, and so I mean, I'm not like quite as, but still, it's just different.
Yeah,
It's just different. Like that would be cool to have been around whenever a lot of like the stuff was actually first being made, because it's like even stuff nowadays is still based on all of those, and so it's just
yeah,
really cool to to it would have been cool to have been like in those times. Another one, a thing for me like that is like the steampunk in the 1800s and stuff, like not just for the attire, but
yeah,
that goes into my special interest with those things because it's the time periods, it's the time travel, like it's me trying to be Doctor Who, and I want to actually be when things were first made. I want to see Leonardo da Vinci creating the stuff and the things and how it was done, because like that's how my brain works. And so there's just so much more in depth with that special interest, and some of the other ones that we have that are, it just expands to like a whole different other like planet literally.
yeah.
you
Well,
know
it's
on how and why those things are like um more than just something that we like, basically, is what I'm trying to get at.
well, my other big interest, which is kind of related, is the UFOs.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, when I was a kid, I saw a lot of hokey flying saucer monster movies,
Hmm.
but I never really thought about UFOs and aliens until I saw that 1974 movie about Barney and Betty Hill being abducted, and that had um, oh, for crying out loud, it was well, anyway, it that was on TV and it creeped me out, and I thought, I mean, you have movies like Invaders from Mars, they'd
Yeah.
smash people, and
Oh gosh, Mars Attacks was
yeah,
fantastic. Like I'm a Tim Burton fan, and that was a pretty off the charts of even his stuff, or is just very, very different. Like he just did these kind of random ones every so often, or worked with someone and did that. And
yeah,
that one was like, okay, they keep falling off. I'm done with them. Sensory issues. But like they, that one was just like the colors and everything were like the Tim Burton style stuff, but like it was just, I don't know why I've seen that movie as many times as I had. It's just because it's probably so dang weird that you can't like, you
now
can't.
that's the one with the aliens.
Yeah, like with the big brains, like that was like
Yeah,
You could see the brains in there and everything, and they're just straight up coming down. There's no "we come in peace." No, they're like zapping people, splat, splat, like, and then just
And
yeah,
they're enjoying themselves. They're
yeah.
like,
But it was just
oh,
like, what
deal with
on
it.
earth? I mean, I don't know. I say I wouldn't be able to create something like that, but like that's pretty much like my brains. So I wouldn't be surprised. But that one was definitely a pretty crazy, eccentric kind of.
I like the idea of the Tom Jones song, Killing Them. It's not unusual to be. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah. And
yeah.
then,
Wait, what? I'm horrible with names of
yeah.
stuff and people. Actually,
Yeah.
like I'm glad your name has 3 letters because
Ken, I'm
also
thinking
that's the
I
name of
ought to
like
change it
that's
on you.
like the name of like Barbie and Ken. So like that's pretty instilled since childhood.
My wife's name is Kat, short for Katrina with a K.
Okay, I was like Kid and Cat. That's like a Kit Kat
Yeah.
bar. Kid
Cat,
and
yeah. Well, we sound like Kit Kat bars when we walk. You know, you hear every time I hear that snap, I hear that break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar
Oh my
because
gosh.
it's just our bones snapping. It sounds exactly like that. You know, so I tell you,
I
that's what you got to look forward to, young
already got
lady.
that because I have arthritis and health problems. So
Yeah.
I got ahead of the game and I am winning the race of doing that too early. Yeah, self-defeating humor. Anyway, but uh, that was making me think of so like ADHD moments, but not. I don't really see them as completely off topic because they are on topic in my brain. But chocolate factories and like there's some really cool ones in the world that I have like at Universal Studios. We went and they have all the gears and stuff. Like they have like all the cool steampunk stuff and like
Hmm.
the gears like my son actually collects all the gears and gadget type things and he like makes characters and stuff out of them and whatever. And so like I've never done a lot of that stuff in front of him or whatever, but I've like had it all over screens and like stuff and pictures and whatever. But like I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just it's working parts and you put them together and like when they're made and there's chocolate involved, that seems to also go together. Like cool gears and gadgets everywhere in a chocolate factory. I sound like Willy Wonka right now, but whatever. We'll just move on. um, yeah. So we got all kinds of fun stuff around here. It's like a bag of tricks, and like you could like tell me your special interests, and I would say it's going to be a 75 to 85% chance that I probably like that too because I get all over the map. So that's sort of my ridiculousness.
Well, I went through a Japan phase about 12 years ago.
Yeah,
I was trying to learn it, and
same.
Japanese is a straightforward language. I don't think it, I mean, if I had dedicated myself, I would
Yeah.
have. I hated trying to. Now, they use Chinese letters, what they call kanji,
Hmm.
and they got their own. I found the Chinese was easier to learn than the Japanese. I was
Yeah.
like, oh God, there's no way. But
It's pretty tough one. I was into learning languages and stuff as well, just because of like cultural and multicultural like interests. Like that's another one of my interests is just like it's more than just Japan and the anime. It's like multiple cultures, like pretty much like all Asia and Japan and Europe for me is like the most one. But like I love places like in the UK and just travel and stuff. So those are all like interwoven things. And there's like one bigger picture all of them, which is like multicultural. Then there's all the different places and whatever. Japan's been one of mine since I was an anime since I was probably in second, third grade, and up until now. And then I also, like, as far as just related into all the Japanese things, and sadly, I probably know like way more Japanese language from watching anime than if I was trying to actually learn. And in the anime, and I do have some links posted below, and I'll talk a little bit about it in a second, but they actually have what you're talking about, the kanji or whatever language stuff. And
Mhm.
they have that as what it explains with the faces. And so on the anime characters, they're like very like either not expressive or like it shows these like funny type of faces or whatever that are expressing whatever that emotion is, like when they're angry and it does the things and like different stuff like that. So that's like a visual representation of what you're
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah.
And when they're speaking in the animes, they're also very direct in how they communicate. And so the links that I have posted below actually explain like why autistics a lot of times are um, interested in anime, or like me, it's one of their biggest special interests because Japan's one of my biggest special interests. Um, and so it actually explains the communication, the making friends, and a bunch of other topics that help to understand why we are so much more deeply infatuated with anime type styles or even comic books. And superhero stuff is another one of my huge special interests. And those areas of things, because they are really speaking a lot more direct, and they're just showing stuff in a different way where it makes it easier for us to like not feel like we are totally off on how we communicate. And so some of these special interests that we can have, like those, um, can help us at least try to learn to practice different stuff or to show expression or things like that. But it's like learning in a way where we're comfortable. So if they were
Yeah.
adding some of that stuff into schools and things that, for students on the spectrum, or, really just anyone, but I would say it would help a lot with kids and people on the spectrum to teach certain things by using, one of their interests that may be able to kind of learn with that. Like Minecraft can be a really good one for like math and stuff,
Yeah.
and coding and whatever. So there is like very useful things that are not just, this is like, an over obsession. It's like it's something that's helping. It's helping us learn. It's helping us to socialize, and bringing that out gives us more options. So I would say the only downside of learning to socialize through comedians and anime is, and a ridiculous amount of 80s movies, because that's another one of my big special interests, is like pretty much all the 80s movies, is that like people don't actually communicate like people that are animes, like neurotypicals, in general, I would say maybe uh, communicate very like indirect. And so like then later
Yeah.
on, we start to feel like we're having to like over explain ourselves because we're trying to like communicate like they do, but it just comes out a mess. And so we almost develop this like coping mechanism of trying to over explain stuff. And that can be really frustrating because we want to be able to say it direct like we used to. But we were, for me, anyways, I'll speak for myself, was like messed with or bullied about stuff like that, or like told that I didn't need to be so blunt, or like that I needed to think about what others feel or whatever. And it's because I, in my brain, cared about what they felt, that I wanted to tell them the truth. And honestly, I thought
Yeah.
that's what we're supposed to do, right? But
Yeah. I've been down that.
so there's just a lot of things that could have been a lot healthier in just the ways that we stay at while learning through our interest and other avenues that are maybe not as conventional to help us with a wide range of things in the world.
Well, you
So
know what I noticed about, I never really thought about it until you were saying it, but I noticed that um, neurotypical people treat it more like sword play when they speak. A lot of parrying, and it's like this dodgy when they speak. So they don't come right out and say what they want to say. I, I think that's what threw me
yeah,
growing up.
and then you
And
internalize it a little more because you're just like, which one do I get? Oh,
yeah,
I sucked at it all. I'm done.
yeah, and I don't catch the
No
context
friends.
of,
No
yeah,
friends here.
there's,
I'm alone.
they could connect and reach a context and be abstract with what they're saying. And then when I tried, it'd be like, you know,
One of those
oh,
baseball things where they keep shooting out,
yeah.
and you're like,
And I'll be saying the dorkiest things, or I'd make people angry because I think I was uh, speaking like they do, and I no, I wasn't. I was saying stuff wrong, and boy, there's a couple times I made people very angry with me. So what I try to do is say very little,
times,
or
a few
huh?
times, only a few times.
I think that's why you and me and other folks that I know of would love to try and communicate. I think you could communicate with an alien up to a point.
uh,
Uh,
no, I just communicate until uh, my dumping is done, and then I'm
yeah,
like, did I just do that again? I said I was not going to do that again. I just did it again. I did it right after. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, that's the inside of my brain with the after. And it's like, I don't know, because I mean, I must have been like the worst older sister to have as being, an aspy older sister. Because I would just like tell my sister that things if she asked me a question all the time, or like I would just say things very bluntly or whatever. And honestly, yeah, probably didn't always sound very nice or whatever. And I don't know, like it's hard to find the balance because you want to not make people feel bad all the time, or you don't want to like ignore what
yeah,
they want to talk about with it or whatever, or with if they want to have a different discussion about not those things. But it can be difficult to kind of navigate so many different areas on how to be neurotypical and like good enough to have communication with.
I'm
Yeah.
not letting you talk to the aliens, man. It's, if they're telepathic, they'll get you. And after a while, they'll be like, "There's nothing you can explain to us because
Yeah.
we're in your head, man." And
Yeah.
so I think that's the
Phillips,
only.
look, these are all the details of humanity. Now take me up with you. It is time to go.
Yeah,
I need some space.
yeah. Me, I'll be cleaning the train aboard the ship. You're like, "Oh, we have a special job for you, Ken." Next thing you know, I'm like with a toothbrush.
Oh god.
The alien urinals are going to be way down by the
Whatever. They
floor.
would have you in charge of like the alien pod things.
What do you
Like
mean the pod things?
the guy who ends up staying up whenever they go into their sleep rest or whatever, you're the one who has to like stay up and take care of them because you know how to take care of aliens.
Yeah, I'll be sock puppets. I'll be
Yeah, like you'll just talk
traveling
to
for
yourself,
months.
like keep yourself busy and like play with
Yeah,
the ship and like tinker around with stuff. And then, you'll probably just be like 5 seconds late to like opening up their thing and then, whatever.
no, they'd wake up and find the saucer wedged in Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, because I thought I can go through and get some coffee and donuts, and they wake up and be like, "What happened?" And they just be stuck.
Oh my gosh. Like it's making me think of just my childhood with more stuff because I was like Futurama. Like,
Futurama, yeah,
yeah, gosh, I loved that show and like the
I
sense of
like the
humor
robot
and stuff. But like
Bender.
Futurama because it was the space and it was the oddball guy that's like selling
Yeah,
pizza, aka probably wearing this shirt, and
yeah.
and then like he gets to go to like all these other planets in another world and like end up with a one-eyed awesome, awesome alien cyclops or whatever, and just like the characters are ridiculous, and like Fry is autistic, the grandpa version of himself is like that's basically young Fry me and old Fry you, except for you're not that old yet, so we'll wait.
I am 58 and a half
Yeah, he's
years
like 100
old.
something, I think, on the
Who,
show.
me?
No. I mean, I think that we are in our alien wisdom. But no, I'm talking about Fry. I mean, Fry, gosh, Fry old self, Fry grandpa. I don't know why I can't remember any of their names right now. Sheila, or gosh, I've just spaced on that
I
one.
just remember Bender and Fry.
Bender,
That's
yeah, gosh,
I
Bender.
like Bender.
Well, of
Who
course,
comes up with a robot that's
sounds like Bender. That's what I've been trying to figure out all this time. And you just answered it for me on accident. Yeah. Well,
well, he's a robot that maintains itself by drinking beer and smoking cigars and belching and just being rude, which
yeah.
is why I like him. You know, I want to be just like him when I grow up. So
Yeah. I mean, I was probably saying that. And now I feel like, uh, oops, sorry. Timers. um, but now I feel like that I'm turning into, okay, Rebecca got it for us. Professor Farns.
yeah, I know
Professor
it's
Farnsworth.
Rebecca.
Old man Fry. Like seriously though, like I I'm like, how did I go from like this to like literally turning into this completely absent-minded professor parent that like is trying to travel through time and space. So whatever. But you know, this is what happens when you try to talk about special interests and they're so cool that you keep falling into,
Yeah.
oh, this is what I was talking about in
Oh
my
yeah, I'd have lost my wife about 20 minutes ago.
oh gosh.
Yeah, I'd be talking and I'd
Oh, would
say,
she last that long? Because I can't get, I don't know. I think my husband gets, well, it just depends on which topic it is. We're talking about
yeah,
go longer because that's also what.
because, yeah, I'd have been like, you even listening to me? She's like, no.
You know, autism is actually a huge special interest of mine. I actually put that one down. Like once I started finding out about it and learning about it, it was like my life for 2 years straight. And then eventually I got up the guts to create this YouTube channel and the Instagram, which is more of my family and myself's, just a more visual thinking in pictures version that I blog with. And I wouldn't have, I just like, if it didn't become my full special interest and like completely obsessed with it, I wouldn't have been able to help my kids as much. I wouldn't have been able to persevere through going through like 5 years and still to this day with, the professionals and doctors and stuff for them.
Mm,
So, like, if I wouldn't have been that determined, is what I call it, some perseverance into my interests with that specific one, then I wouldn't be sitting right here and I wouldn't be trying to do all this stuff to help other people on the spectrum or to even do it for my own healing and growth. So, I feel like that kind of becomes a lot of ours for a period. Like most of us, or some of us, won't do as much with it, but like a
yeah.
lot of us end up something, even if it's art that we start doing or like stuff that we realize that we have left behind because people told us that it wasn't going to get us a job or we weren't going to be able to use that. We're starting to find out what we like again. And it's like a whole different journey as an autistic that's finding out as an adult about those things and then learning like who you really are, what you really like, and being able to go through those things of like, well, now I know what that is. And now all of a sudden I have expanded my brain like 5 more sizes to fit this in. So
Must be in there pretty tight, like
it is like I have brain fog on a daily basis, and fibromyalgia doesn't help. But like I think I just have it because I like cannot fit everything quite like in an open spot in there. So.
uh
Gosh, I could have like 15 YouTube videos on special interests. And like, honestly, I could just get on and talk about MBTI, psychology, and neurology for like a good 5 flipping hours. It's going to be like a seminar class. And I'm just going to go into like all of those things, even though I know that like more than half the people in the world are not into that and have no idea what I would be talking about. The point of my special interest in discussing it is that it's exciting. It's exciting. Like I actually feel excited to like it all out, just
I'm
get it all out there.
I'm still I'm still trying to find myself. I'm kind of getting there now. Um like my channel, I used to have a bunch of stuff on it and I privatized it because I've only got 3 or 4 videos now
Yeah.
that could be watched, and I have them under the title of struggling autist,
Yeah.
and I kept going through name changes. I got rid of that one because I thought it sounded too negative. After a while, it was like I was fitting it. And then I went to mellow autist. And then when you put Ken on the Spectrum back up, I thought, I don't know why I ever quit using that because that says it best. So I went ahead and changed
Yeah.
stuff back.
Well, I liked your name being like in the front or whatever. I just had it because that's what we've used in the
Yeah.
past. But
I
um,
just thought that
I
said
went
it.
through a similar thing too because I was like, I don't know what I want to what this is or what I want to be called with this, and so I kind of did a little bit, but then I stayed firm with my Facebook one because that just is like a compilation from my YouTube and my Instagram stuff, and then just random things that I'll post on there every so often, and so it kind of just it's like my eccentricities are coming together as one, and so but everything else I kept the Sarah upside down for my little story that I've mentioned in past videos for my channel name. But it's just a process, and like really, we're in here, we're inside of this, we're in this, not out
Thing.
there. But it does help to find these special interests that are more at your core because even though they may be out here, it kind of helps us to go inside of ourself where we are actually at and then we can kind of like pull it out and be like, this is me, I've been hiding in here, this is like my child self. I could go into some spiritually things with that, but like it's able to like kind of pull out that childhood self of yours and sort of relive that to an extent. Again, I still have to be a parent and stuff, but like it makes me have more fun with them when I am
Mm.
actually able to be myself and not feel like I have to look like a certain parent or
I,
not
s-
wearing alien stuff when I go to my kids' lunch like I did today with fuzzy socks on.
there you go.
Fuzzy socks. That's another one of my things. But,
You got to get curb feelers for your sneakers, but when you're saying you bring all these things together into one, what you didn't tell everybody is when they come together, they start wrestling like sumo wrestlers and throwing each other.
yes,
So yeah,
yes. That's okay. That's why I picked up karate along the way of interests. That's all. more of the hyperfixation area, but like I'll just like try to use the other side of karate and do the meditation and like just let my thoughts flow or whatever. And then, mindfulness and stimming. Put those together. It will save your life. Just do both. They are both needed at the same time, most of the time for me.
Well, that and a board with a nail in it.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about just I have had times like just a really bad autistic moments, and I can be hyposensitive with when it comes to myself doing things, but hypersensitive when it's the outside coming in. So I would just like slam my head onto, not trying to like hurt myself, but just one of those bonk moments, But then I would go down too hard on the table and hit my head too hard. Anyways, gosh, I mean, I would have made fun of me probably. So
Now, when you came back up, were you like speaking French?
I thought maybe it would just get my head right or straight or something and like get it together,
I am Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh, I'm back.
Oh gosh. Um,
So I got a question for you. And I
yes.
saw this one time on Facebook or somewhere. Um, the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Roy Neary leaves Earth and goes off with the aliens. So his wife left him with the kids, and he just goes to another. Goes out in space, blows off his family, blows off his new friend Jillian. He actually gave
Yeah.
her a kiss and all that. And he's like, "Well, I'm going off with the aliens. Screw all y'all." Now, would you do that if you had a chance to go take off?
Like if I'm taking the people in my household, at least.
No, you have to
Oh,
blow
just
them
by
off
myself.
like
Oh, I
Roy
gotta blow
Neary.
off. Ooh.
Well, not blow them off, but I mean, even if they tell you, like, "Oh, yeah, we'll bring you back," and it's like, okay. And then 200 years later, the ship comes back, and you're like, what happened here,
It's like
man?
everything's flying and it's like Futurama.
Yeah.
And you're like, crap, everybody's dead. That was my first thought. Like, I mean, but I do watch this sci-fi show. It's the remake or whatever of uh, Lost in Space.
Yeah.
And I really love that. My son and I like to watch that one together, and they do that. And it does actually happen to one of the kids. Anyways, she turns out to be a genius and a doctor at like 18 and gets adopted by the other astronaut parents or whatever. So maybe my kids would have hope. No, I'm just kidding. I could never leave them, but like, I would say that as an honest autist, I'm going to say that I would have had that I took too long thinking about it. I mean, I would never do that, but just I thought outer space and special interests.
Yeah.
Okay, but and then let's go. Yeah, aliens are here. Like those are like, see, that's why you don't necessarily always act on your first impulses, especially when it comes to some special interests. Like maybe someone was specially interested in bungee jumping and was so impulsive they forgot to get the cord on. Like that's not a good idea.
No.
So like I just would love to. Actually, one of my first things that I wanted to do when you picked all the things that you want to do when you grow up, um, you know, mine was an astronaut. That was the very first kid thing that I picked, and then in fourth grade later, I changed it to a medical examiner because, or a forensic scientist because I got a little bit maybe darker at that time in my life. Whatever. So, but yeah, outer space.
Well, you could have starred on NCIS Mars or something.
That would be fantastic. Oh my gosh. See, I wish I could like write shows or movies or something. I mean, one of my good friends and I can always say like a whole different story or turn out or like create this whole different thing from it. That's sort of our like Audie speaking communication for fun, like every time we hang out. But like writing stuff like that, that's just it's like it's kind of different version of like a story from in outer space or whatever, that you could do. And then like they're making a movie about like Ghostbusters. I love
Mhm.
Ghostbusters. That's another one of our family shared special interests. And even my daughter like super loves it. We jam. I got a Ghostbusters giant sticker on the side of my car. We drive around and jam like pimped out versions of Ghostbuster songs with like techno stuff or whatever, and like like while we're driving around our Ghostbuster anime mobile, um, like yes,
I remember when it came out. I think I saw it theater. I don't remember.
yeah.
Everything's
You
a
got to
blur.
watch all those good ones first too. Like I'm envious a little. um,
So, uh, see, and then we suddenly get all like
yes, we're like crap.
nonverbal.
Where I know because I was like, well, am I going to go more into Ghostbusters or have we shown the definition of what special interests are? uh, Lady Gadget says, I saw Ghostbusters for the first time the other day. Oh man, yeah, you're going to have to if that was the new one, you're going to have to go to the old ones, watch all of them in order at least 2 times. This is my direct Spock directions here. And then you watch the new ones. And then you maybe watch the newest new one more time because that one was like actually way cooler because it was like their grandkids and stuff and it like showed their past and it was neat. But anyway, and then you do all that and that's gonna be some good time spent. Also, I have a awesome Ghostbuster trap that my husband and
I
I did
saw that.
together. We have it on the Instagram pictures, but like my son was so into it, and he loves ghosts. He loves all the alien creepy games, gadgets, whatever. Like he's like a mixture of us together.
Yeah,
And
I saw you and your husband
yeah,
playing that
so
thing more
so
than the
he did it
kids.
for Valentine's box. Like he did it for the Valentine's box. It has like the tube on it and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm just like, now that is how you do a Valentine's box.
They'd be like, "Your parents made this for you?" Yes. And then the teacher does this. Does this look like this. Oh, your teacher made that for you. I mean, your parents.
Yeah.
Oh, I blew my line.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Oh, I
Cut.
know what you mean. I picked it up though. I picked it up. I was
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't do good in a movie. If I was a star, I'd be like that idiot in the that commercial, the Liberty Mutual, where he can't say his line. He'd be like, Liberty something there. And it's like, oh God,
no,
that
you
would
just do Bender. Just do Bender.
yeah, just be a big burp, just guzzle and burp.
Yeah.
Remember the one when he lost his butt?
Oh my goodness.
He, I
Yeah.
can't tell people to kiss my
Oh no.
shiny. Yeah,
No, when him and Fry try to be roommates, oh gosh. Oh, that's starting to make me think like we would never be able to like be roommates because
you and me.
well like Fry and Bender were like best friends, but like the
Oh,
stuff
I
that
could.
Bender's trying to do all the time is just like And then
Oh
the
yeah,
guy
he's
is just, I don't even know if he knows what he's doing all the time. See what I mean? So
yeah.
like
Bender is like
either
a
way, like
yeah.
that's not gonna work out.
Well, Bender's a reckless partier. He don't care. He's
Yeah.
like, ah, let's go.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. It's funny to like not just see I realize that's something else that I do, like, and I'll verbalize that out loud like too often whenever I'm like in one of my shows or movie eras or things, and like almost all the stuff that I watch or whatever, I'm like super analytical the whole time, trying to figure everything out. But I also am like seeing all these patterns because, like, I used to get patterns from like all this stuff in the world, and now I kind of understand through learning different systems, like patterns with people and stuff.
Yeah,
And I didn't realize I was doing it. And then I'm learning all of this information and then seeing all these patterns with characters, which is another big thing in like anime, but just in like even like Star Trek and a lot of that stuff where not only do I kind of see similarities with me in certain characters, but like I'll see other characters and my friends or family members or things like that. And it's even like learning like the different body language and stuff that these characters do and how they express themselves and just all that stuff that someone made like a real character out of, probably from maybe even a real person that they knew that could have been
yeah.
similar to one of my friends, who knows. But like it's just wild to me, kind of the details that go into like making each character of all this like wide variety of shows, movies, and awesomeness.
So
Yeah.
I have trouble watching horror films because not so much the scariness,
Hmm.
but I question the motivation of what the creatures are
Yeah.
doing and stuff. I watched one. It took place on Mars. Good special effects, all that. Look great.
Yeah.
Um, but what happened was people were going on the surface and they get infected with something. They come back and right away the one guy, he was infected, I guess, comes in, grabs a power drill and starts murdering somebody with it. And I'm watching that, I'm like, why? If this was like an intelligent life form that took his body over, is that all they're gonna do is just run around murdering
Yeah.
everybody? It didn't make any sense. It's like,
There's like no good psychological thrillers these days. It's like it's them again. They're
yeah,
the guy. This was all fake. It's Shutter Island number 5. Like
yeah,
it's just like it's because I don't know if everybody does that, but I know a lot of people that are interested in like detective stuff and things. That's like a huge since childhood, like big. I've watched every single type of detective show ever like done or whatever. Definitely X Files if we're getting into sci-fi, but like all of the different kinds, and like it's all like you're trying to figure it out. At least me, I'm just like the whole time, like my brain is active. That's why I need really dumb shows like Community that are hilarious that I don't have to think with or try to figure as much out because I will do it automatically, analyzing. And I'm already figuring out everything that happened, and then I'm gonna have to sit through the whole movie because I want to be able to finish it, and I already took too much time on it. So, like, it's a really love hate relationship. But if it's not a good one, then it can be frustrating because it's like you didn't even try to trick the audience, or you didn't even try
yeah.
to throw something in there. This is just over already.
I'm not allowed to watch anything with my wife, so because I get on her nerves. I sit there and say things like, who writes this crap,
Yeah,
and and I'll say something like, "This probably ain't real wind. They probably got the fans off."
yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm picking it apart technically. I'm trying to figure out how they do the shots and everything, and my wife's like, "Really,
Yeah.
really, yeah." So
Yeah, I like really try not to, and I try not to like laugh too much and stuff in the theater or whatever. Like whenever my like extroverted feeling comes out, it's like usually like a low function, and so how I express it is like more childlike or whatever. And it's you know, that's another thing I've learned sort of in the MBTI stuff. It just comes out more childlike, and so it's a little bit harder to control, or to like change or whatever on how I'm sort of expressing whatever I'm expressing. um and so I'll get the same way, and I'm like, okay, like not everybody wants to know all the details of everything that you're analyzing, and like they don't want to know who the killer is. They're probably like not even figuring it out, and you just so ruined it for them. Like, would you want someone to do that to you? No, because I would crush them. I would crush them for doing that. But you know, like I'm working on it. It's just one of those really like less on lock things that, you know, because it's fun for me, and but it's not really fun for everyone unless you're having a group meet up movie time or whatever, you know, with like purposely stopping to nerd out on Harry Potter stuff and then going back to watching the Harry Potter movie or
I
whatever,
have
you
I've
know.
I've never I've not seen one Harry Potter movie.
Yes, I am definitely, that's like somewhat one of mine. Not as big of a special interest as I know like some of my friends, but it's just that's more into the fantasy world of stuff for me and all that. But and magic and mystical and weird characters. But yeah.
I don't know. If I would have watched one, I probably would have watched them all. I just never got started.
Well, it doesn't take as long as you think, because we actually did a marathon with my kids who now are also really into Harry Potter stuff. And then next thing you know, we had to buy all the Lego Harry Potter sets because we had to collect all the books. And there's books that are Lego sets that open up and then have a whole little setup or whatever. They also have that with Disney. And so I should have thought about that before I got them into it. But whatever. Now we have the two-story bus from Harry Potter as a Lego thing, and so, but that's what I get for trying to brainwash and like get them into like all these amazing things that will be wonderful for their life and make me buy more Lego sets or whatever, you know. Um, yeah.
are, are you starting to run out of steam there, girl, or what?
No, I start to run out of what I'm saying, and then it didn't trail off any further.
Let's be nonverbal for 10 seconds. Go. I win.
I was nonverbal. I just still did stuff. So hi. Um, oh yeah, we haven't bought any of the expensive ones. But I would love the owl set. I mean, I get sensory overloaded doing Legos. That's in the chat box, Ken. If you, I didn't like randomly pop up with another topic all of a sudden. but but yes, I would love to have the whole Hogwarts thing. That's ridiculous, and I'm probably never going to pay for it because I don't know.
I know
Um,
Star Wars was bad for merchandising too. It's like, oh, I want this. I want that.
oh gosh.
Oh, Lord, no. But
Well, I do need to be working on getting off of here. I
yeah,
actually have therapy, and then I'll have to go talk more. But maybe since I already did that, I'll just like let her give me insight for an hour. We'll see if she can even, because usually she just gives me some really awesome few things, and that's good enough for weeks. But like, you just never know. Just never know.
I thought I was your therapy.
Oh no, I have a holistic therapist that is really great with helping me learn to step out and do things that I can get out of my head to do. And that's pretty much what I've been working on for 3 years now. So,
Roller skating to disco.
I mean, plus other things, of course, from life history and
Yeah.
stuff. But, we all got something. I mean, we may all need to have like some robot dance classes.
I got to stop her. The Kit Kat noises.
No, I think I need to go get a piece of chocolate or something before I have to use my brain again. um, but I enjoyed having you on the show, Ken, today with all our random funkiness. We could talk for like probably another 2 hours before we both just sit there blankly wondering how we got to where we were and maybe take a nap.
Yeah, night nap time for me. Yeah.
Yes. So, but yeah. And thank y'all for coming on the show today. Thank you, Rebecca, for visiting us. And Neil, thank you for being here for the first time today. You definitely came on an interesting topic episode, and we have so much more to share. The rest of this week, I will be doing a video. Oh my gosh, it's tomorrow's Wednesday. I will be doing a video every day. I'm already lacking routine and structure from going around like a nutty professor, but I will make it through the week. This is autism, acceptance, and awareness, and love, and support week, and all the things that will help our community grow and our brains explode with joy. That's what you're doing, right? Right. So y'all have a good rest of your week, and join us on the other episodes if you would like to be a part of one. You are more than welcome to join Thursday and Friday. We could even do a group thing and talk about autistic and making friends. Yeah.
Do we have to make friends?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, people. Yeah. Well, we will talk about later.
All right.
See you later, Ken.